first one we are gonna do is the December paper pumpkin, which is lots of pun. They have some super cute cards in here. The first one is let's grow mold together. I loaf you, and you tell the best yolks. And they're all blank on the inside, so it's fun, but cute punny cards. So that's the first one. The second one is I'm sorry, that's the pits with little cherries on there and their sad faces. And the last one is peel better soon with a banana. So fun. All right, as always, if you comment, like, or share the video, your name will go into a drawing to get a set of these cards. I'll be doing 2 drawings, one for the December kit and one for the January kit. But we're gonna do the December kit first, and I'll show you the January kit when we get to it. All right, let me grab my Stampin' pad so maybe you guys can see this one better. This is the stamps that you get in December for the lots of puns. Some of the sentiments are, you are cherry sweet, I pick you, thanks a bunch, celebrate, go bananas, a toast to your success, have an excellent day, excited for you, and then all the other ones that I mentioned before. They have fun little faces for all of the cherries, eggs, bananas, toast, little word box, a hat. Oh, there's also a high in there as well, and some hearts. So it's a fun and rather large set compared to normal. And we get in our embellishment kit, we have some fun linen thread and some of these self-backed embellishments. Very fun. All right, we'll set that aside. And then, of course, our color for this month is, or December's kit is Early Espresso that we'll be using. All right, let me get situated here so we can begin. There's a lot of stamping on this one, but it goes pretty quick, I think, like most of them. So just bear with me here while I get it all put together, and I'm gonna try to make sure everything is nice and in view for you. Because what's the point of a video if you can't see what's happening, right? Okay. And then as always, you get the instructional sheet with it that gives you the new instructions without words on how much you cut, where to put everything. And then each one has instructions for what you will need for each card. So you kind of, if you want to organize it ahead of time. And then, I'm not sure if you realize this, but on the back, they give you different alternatives. My favorite thing to do is to go to Pinterest and see what other demonstrators have done with it. Sometimes I just love the kit so much that I don't think outside the box, literally do not think outside of the paper pumpkin kit box. But others have made, like this one right here is the envelope they made into a box, which I'm like, how in the world do you think of that? Like, I don't get it. And then this one uses the inside of one of the envelopes. They cut it out. So yeah, a lot of good ideas. And then definitely Paper Pumpkins on Pinterest, Facebook. They have tons of ideas there too. So, all right, we will begin. And I just have everything kind of organized nicely. So the first one we're gonna do is the cherry card, and all the items, I believe how I have this organized, are the stamping items that we'll need are just right there inside the card. But first I will just crease down the card base with my bone folder. We'll set that off to the side so it lays nice and flat and behaves while we stamp. And the first thing we'll stamp is the cherry. Get that on our block. Ink it up with our ink spot. Oops, sorry. Try not to wiggle the camera too much. Ooh, and we'll line it up. The nice thing about the photopolymers is you can see through it, so it's easy to line up. Perfect. Just let it sit there and absorb the ink for a bit. And slowly peel it off, and we got our cherry. And just as we go, I'm just going to set these off to the side, not worry about putting them back on right now. And okay. So there's one small face that's a sad face for each cherry, so we'll have to just ink it up twice and stamp, kind of put it towards the bottom. There we go. Sorry, that's the pits. Oh, it just looks so sad. And I think we might use this one again, so I'm going to put it back just so we don't lose it. Because it's a tiny, tiny one. And I'm sorry, that's the pits. So with the photopolymer, they can easily get, when you put them on a block, they can get crooked or kind of curved. So what I like to do is lay it down with the flat side up, and typically they'll lay pretty flat for you. So I think, is that it? Oh yeah, this is a very narrow one. Don't worry, the kit does give you extras since it is rather narrow, but I believe everyone has the ability to do it. Don't get intimidated by it. Just breathe and take a breath and stamp with confidence. We'll let it sit. Pull it up. There we go. And I'll clean that off because I know we're not going to be using this one again, and put it off to the side. Okay, so we're done stamping for this card. So what I'm going to do is just put everything back. We'll assemble all at the end once we get the stamping done. So I'm going to fold it back up in its card base and lay it off to the side. And the next one we are going to stamp is, drumroll please, the eggs. Okay, this one we actually do stamp on the card base, so we'll just kind of crease that down with the bone folder. There's not enough room. I have to readjust my camera, I think, eventually, but it's been a while, so who knows, right? We're just gonna go with it. It's not that big of a deal. You guys know how to crease a card. And so with this one, it's just little dots. We're just gonna put some dots in the upper left corner and the bottom right corner just to give some dimension and a little bit of color. So we'll plop one right there. And we'll plop one up in this corner. There we go. Clean that off. We will use this again for another card, so I will put it back again so we don't lose it, since it's kind of easy to do that. Okay. So I'm going to arrange these in the way that the word bubbles come out, just because when you arrange them on the card, it'll make sense once we arrange it, but you do want one of them with the word bubble with actually both of them. Both of the big ones, the flat side is to facing the left hand, and then the curve is on the right hand side, so that hopefully will help. Okay, so the first one we are going to stamp is Let's Grow Mold Together. That's so disgusting, but it's so funny. Like, if you think about the idea of like growing mold on bread, but when you think of the pun behind it of growing old together, it's cute. Kind of disgusting, but cute. If you have any good punny jokes, I would love to hear them. Put it in the comments. Tim's been on these dad jokes lately, so he's been, when he finds them, he'll be like, hey, guess what? I wish I could remember them at the moment, but of course I can't. There we go. Let's grow mold together. Clean that off and put it off to the side. And then we will do You Tell the Best Yolks. It's been pretty cold here recently, as I'm sure most people kind of all across the United States have been dealing with cold weather, but it's finally, I think there's going to be a good week of above zero temperatures for the most part, and like really above zero temperatures, like teens above. You Tell the Best Yolks. Feel bad for Anya. They've had, with the cold weather, if it's too cold, they don't go outside at recess, so they've had to have inside recess an awful lot. Pretty much like the last month. Normally, even into December, which is kind of odd because I feel like December is still pretty warm, and then January, February, we expect this really, really cold weather, but it's a change. Maybe that means spring and warm weather will come here quickly, or quicker. And I Loaf You is next on the little one. I Loaf You. I may just give this one to Tim for Valentine's Day because he's been all about the dad jokes. And then on the egg and the toast, we're going to stamp its outline. Their outlines. So I like to kind of figure out where, oh, not quite there, not quite there, no. Feel like it might be like, okay, so it's like that. So what I'm gonna do is we'll just line it up like this. No, I don't know, does that look right? No. It takes a minute to get it, there we go. There it is. So then now I'm gonna press it on, and we'll ink it up the yolk outline. Wait, what the? Okay, then I had it like, oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, there we go. There it is. Put it down quick before you forget again, right? I do also have, oh, that's what I should have shown too beforehand, is the card class that I have coming up, or the project class that I have coming up on Thursday. Both times are morning and afternoon, or on Thursday, February 10th. We're going to be making some Valentine boxes. If you don't need little boxes, we'll make cards too, so it's a cards or box, or if you like both of them, just let me know and we can do both. There's an events section. Under the event section on the Crafting Gracefully page, it is there, so you can see the, whatchamacallit, I am blanking on words today. You'll see the pictures in the comments or the discussion of the group or event on what they look like. So we're going to take the little smiley face and put it in the center of the yolk, just like that. And then we are going to take this other smiley face that's a little bit wider and put it on the toast, because he is also going to get a mustache. I call these ones mustaches because they're fancy mustaches, the ones that curl on the end. A mustache. And this cute little stash on. And then we'll just line it up above, covering the smiley face. And there you go. You can't even see it anymore. Just a little stash. Or if you prefer your toast without mustaches, you don't need to put that on. All right, we are done stamping for this card, so I'm going to put them all in the card base for when we're ready to assemble. And then our last card we are stamping for this December kit is the banana. And we do need to stamp on the card base as well, so I will crease that card base with my bone folder. When you do that, I would suggest having a harder surface. I mean, it works on this Stampin' Pierce mat, but yeah, sometimes you'll get, if you press too hard, it's easier to indent. So here we're gonna put those circles, lots again, but this time it'll be on the upper right and the lower left. And our card will be facing the horizontal. We'll flip on the horizontal, not on the vertical. So there's that one. And there's that one. I mean, I guess you could even put the mold on the banana and put, let's grow mold together. It kind of reminds me of those little dots that grow on bananas as the banana ripens, I should say. Okay, we'll set that off to the side because we are done with that. And peel better soon is what we'll stamp next. Also, I should say, if you are interested in paper pumpkin, it is $22 a month for the subscription, and there we go, peel better soon. It's $22 a month. You can cancel or skip a month at any time. So like, let's say this last month was January and it was Valentine's. You don't need 10 Valentine's cards, or you just don't really do Valentine's. You can skip it that month, and then it'll automatically resume for the following month. So if there's a month you like, you can put it in there. If there's a month you don't like, you can skip it. It doesn't show in the previews, they don't show exactly what it'll be. They just give little hints on the theme. Occasionally in the graphics they show the cards, but of the card that they show, sometimes they just make a completely different card but using the products in the catalog. Or not in the catalog, but in the kit. So, we gotta get his face and glasses for this one. And this one we're gonna use the wide smiley face again. But if you have any questions on it, I will be happy to answer them. Just send me a message or give me a call if you want to discuss it. I'd be more than happy to discuss it. If you're local to me, we do a kit together or a get together once a month. Typically the first Mondays of the month, we meet and just assemble the kits. Today would be the first Monday of the month. However, I reach out to all of my local gals who normally come to see if they can make it. None of them can. So we just don't meet, but I will. So this month, but next month I'm sure we'll meet. It's all fun. It's just an idea to. A lot of the ladies are like, oh, if we didn't meet, I'd never put these together. Well, I feel you. If I didn't have a reason to put them together, I wouldn't probably. Okay, so we are all done stamping, so I'll put away our ink spot off to the side and move this out of the way. And we will get to assembling. And we'll just go in reverse order from what we had. So I will get all my other supplies out that I put in the envelopes. See, aren't these cute? Like each envelope has a little bit different of a pattern inside. They're so adorable. It just blows my mind away sometimes on what people can think up. Okay, so our card is flat, And the first thing we are going to put down is our brown banner. In the kit, it always gives you the glue dots. I only use them if I absolutely have to, which is kind of never unless I really need a glue dot. But we'll just pull out my handy dandy seal just for the time on the video. And then that just goes straight into this center overlapping, it's not overlapping anything, it's just straight in the center. There we go. And then the next thing we're going to put down is our vellum circle. We are just going to put a little bit of vellum right in the middle and over that. And so you can see when you use seal or glue, you'll get that darker line. It'll be fine because we'll cover it up with all of our other fun little items. So then this one will go right over there. Just keep loading the seal up on it. And you want it down like just a little bit further past. I'd say that's like 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, I don't know. I'm bad at measuring from eyeballing things. So this is rather really tiny. So what I am actually going to do is just take my glue. Every one of you who has a kit from me or subscribes to my under me receives a glue to put it together. And my glue, I thought I had it prepped. Well, I guess that's not working. Oh, let's try to clear it out real quick. I've been getting better at keeping little, what are they called? Pins. They're mostly meant for, there we go, a little bit of glue. Just a tiny bit. I don't even know if you can see it there. Maybe you can a little bit. Just a tiny bit of glue. And then it'll go in line over, there we go. Just kind of even at the top. Right here. Oh, and then we need to get our other items out of the... Okay. So, what I'm gonna do is that's how I want it. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of tape and tape it on the back. You could use your glue dots if you don't have any tape handy. And then I'm going to cut the tape because I grabbed just a little bit too much. So there, it's nice and hidden, but no one will see it once it's put down. So there we go. And then that is going to be just positioned right there. And we'll flip it over, grab our dimensionals out. And yeah. So they do give you the big dimensionals, which we can put on our banana. And then I am just gonna grab mini dimensionals instead of not wasting time, but using it to trim up. You can definitely trim up the larger ones if you don't have any little ones. Normally they give extras in kits, so I always like to hang on to those because you never know if you'll need them. They come in handy because they are the perfect size for these little banners. But yeah, I always hang on to my extra ones and keep them off to the side because you just never know. So then this is going to go just right there. Feel better soon. And then we have our little hello, which we'll flip over and use our mini dimensionals again on that. I'll put one on the O and one of the L's. And actually, yeah, it should fit. And here's the thing, if they don't fit, I just trim them off. From looking at the front, you can kind of see what'll hang out and what won't. So, and peel those off. And we'll stick it right above here. And our last, well, we have 2 steps real quick. So in the instructions for the linen thread, they have you cut off 6 inches, but I don't think you really need 6 inches. But so what I like to do is just keep it on there and tie a bow. So I make a loop and spin it around, pull it through, and play with it until I like it, and then trim the tails, and we'll just discard that little piece. Now, who knows if you actually do use 6 inches or not, but I feel like that's kind of a lot. And then I am going to take our dimensionals, embellishments. Nope, just kidding. We gotta put the bow on first, so I will use my take your pick tool, and I have my pointer end out, and I'm just going to pick up one of the glue dots, and we will place it on our bow like such, and then you should be able to peel off the backing of it, and on there you'll have the little glue dot. Hopefully you can kind of see that shiny part, and just move it around till it's all on that knot. And we will slide it underneath the corner, and there's our little bow. And then with our take your pick tool again, on the other side we'll use the putty side, and we will pick up 5, basically a row of these yellow dots. We'll just kind of place them around. One right there, one right there, some over by the banana head. There we go. And we have our 5 embellishments. And our first card is done. Pretty painless, I think, and very, very cute. So we'll put that one off to the side. Whoopsies. Dropping things over here. Oh, it's a good thing you guys cannot see my craft room because it's a disaster. I feel like I'm constantly cleaning it, but can't tell you how. Because I feel like how much I'm constantly cleaning it, like I've never cleaned it before or something. Okay, so we will have our itty bitty pieces in the envelope. The first thing we are going to do is glue our vellum circle to the center. Actually, just kidding, we're not going to do that. We're just going to place it on the circle, and then we are going to take our toast and our egg, and we are going to flip them over and put some dimensionals on there because they will be popped up. I'm just going to use 2 to make sure that they're secure and on there and are well held. And then we're gonna place this guy just right there, and then the toast, if I can get that off, we're gonna place him right there. So now when we flip it over, we'll know where to put the glue. So you can kind of see that. We just take our seal and run it over. Oh, that did not break off nicely. There we go. And then we will place that right in the center. There we go. And now, the next thing I am going to grab out, I am going to use my silicone craft sheet for this part just because this thing is amazing. Nothing sticks to it, and I mean nothing. And then we're going to take the You Tell the Best yolks. The reason why I want to do that is because I'm going to put a very thin, well, how I ran it off, and I went over the side. Nothing, like literally nothing sticks to it. It's so great. But I want to be able to stick this to the bottom of the You Tell the Best yolks. Let me make sure this is in the camera. So I have seal, if you can see that, on the bottom edge. And then I can figure out where I want this to go. And that little bit of seal will seal it on there, and it won't stick to the mat. Where if you were to do this on paper or a work surface, it would definitely stick to the work surface. So now that we have that, we'll keep it flipped over and it gets popped up on dimensionals. So we'll put 3 because it's a rather long one. If it's a shorter one, I probably would have only put 2, but it's kind of long. And then we're gonna put that right there and down. You Tell the Best yolks. I Loaf You goes down flat, so we'll use our seal for that, and we'll kind of put it right over there. I loaf you. The toast is saying that. And Let's Grow Mold Together will go up on dimensionals as well. And I'll put 3 on this one because it's a rather large one. And we'll kind of make sure it's touching him and kind of at an angle. Let's grow mold together. And our last part is these very pretty hearts. So we'll use our Take Your Pick tool and we'll sprinkle on some hearts. There you go. How pretty is that? So fun. And our second card is fully completed. How nice. Growing mold together, it's so wonderful. And our very last card is our cherry card. So we will get all the things out that we need. And again, I'm going to bring out the silicone craft sheet. I'll kind of move things off to the side just so you can see it again. So we're working with these very thin. They don't really leave you much of a border on this, so it's really super thin. So I'm sorry that's the pits. The nice thing about this is we will just run the tape runner or the seal all the way over it. And sometimes you need to just bring the seal on back, but it doesn't stick to the mat, which is great. And we want it centered. As close as we can center it. There we go. I'm sorry, that's the bits. And then we're going to take our vellum and it's going to go on the vellum piece, and it should touch end to end. And then there's that. So we have that piece together. We'll put it off to the side, and then we're going to take our card base, and the first thing we're going to do is put down this punch out. And I am going to put a dimensional in each corner, and we'll take the backings off. And then this goes over the center of the card, over that blue shaded area. And then we have our little cherries. We'll wait actually to put that guy on because we have to put a bow on him, but we can put this piece down, and we're putting the dimensionals on the vellum over the sentiment so it will not show through when we place it on the card. And then this one just goes right at the bottom. I'm sorry, that's the pits. And again, we're gonna take our twine. I believe the measurement is 6 inches. I'm gonna make the bow a little bit smaller because I do want this to be a smaller bow, but you loop it, bring it around, and push it through, and pull. There we go. So that one I had to pause a little bit and pull the string out because it wasn't going to be as there wasn't enough on the end, but I didn't want to cut too much off. So I'm making just a really tiny bow, and just for reference, that's where it's gonna go. So I want, looks like a pretty good size to me. And now we're just gonna cut the tails off. Ooh. So, paper snips. They're super sharp, but once you use them on paper, they dull. So if you ever, my suggestion is to get 2 of them, use one for just your ribbon so it's always sharp, and then use one for your paper. And you won't have an issue with cutting ribbon that way. I still have one of my very old ones from the first, like way back in the day when Stampin' Up sold like these big ribbon scissors, and I've only cut ribbon with it, so it's still super sharp, so that's what I use just for at my desk. But during my classes, if you guys have ever come, you'll notice those are super sharp. The snips are super sharp. Eventually, once they start to dull down, it takes a while, I'll replace them with new ones for just ribbon, and they'll still be fine for paper, because this one I've had probably for just as long and it's still super sharp. I cut myself all the time on it. It's kind of embarrassing. But crafter's gonna craft, right? And it's part of crafting. If you don't cut yourself, bleed, or cry during a craft, did you really craft, is my my motto. Alright, so we have that, and our last finishing touches are the blue embellishments. So we're gonna sprinkle those on here. I kind of like to cluster them in 3s and 2s. So 3s either on the top and 2 on the bottom, or 2 on the top and 1. There we go. There. So that's kind of just the way our eyes look. Fill in some empty space if you need it. And we're done with our 3rd card. Isn't it so adorable? Oh, I'm sorry. It's the pits. Okay, I'm gonna quickly kind of clean up here so I don't use, we can get our next project out and not have to worry about this stuff. But before we do that, I'm gonna show you the cards that we made in the video, or for December's so far. So this is one set of cards that will be given away. How do you get a chance to win them? You can comment, like, or share the video. If you share the video, please comment that you shared it, just because Facebook doesn't always tell me who shares it. But these are the 3 cards from the December 2021 Lots of Pun paper pumpkin kit. They are just so fun and cute. Adorable, absolutely adorable.